If it takes a balloon to get us to take our national security and our sovereignty more seriously with the Chinese, so be it. Let's be honest, though. It's not as though the threat is new or been hidden. And get this, China just surpassed the United States in the number of intercontinental ballistic missiles launchers it has. They beat us now. And now, thanks to Biden's deer in the headlights response, they now know where ours are. Trouble. As far as we know, we have nothing to fear from little green beings. It's the hostile communist government on the other side of the planet that we have to worry about, and balloons are just the least of it, folks, or more likely just a test, and Biden failed and failed miserably. Now, let's bring in former governor of Alaska and friend of mine, I might say, Sarah Palin. Governor, good to have you on.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
So these balloons or objects seem to start over Alaska and make their way over the United States. Senator Dan Sullivan was ticked off when he found out about this because he wasn't notified until after the fact. Why don't we have surveillance coming from the West, coming from west to east?
Well, it's a matter of priorities, obviously, and the Biden administration, the priority is not, it is not public safety, and it is not thwarting the efforts of our enemies, because they don't see China, Russia, they don't see threats as being part of an enemy's agenda, because they're not America first. They honestly just don't care. Otherwise, their priority would be, really enhancing NORAD, really enhancing surveillance, and not allowing what's going on today. Trump wouldn't allow this. We wouldn't be talking about this. We would not have to worry about what the information is coming out of the White House that we can't believe if Trump were in office today.
Awareness gap. NORAD commander says it's an awareness gap. Yeah, you know how scary that is? We spent $840 billion.
Billion.
A year.
Yeah, well, and as you're pointing out, too, now top brass is telling us we're missing when we're trying to shoot down what evidently needs to be shot down. I'm all about putting a bounty on the head of predators that need to be destroyed. Perhaps that's something that maybe our military could. I know some really skilled vets, former troops, who would love to have the opportunity to show today's top brass how it's done, because there's no excuse for this. And there's no excuse. There's no reason for the public to have to worry about what is going on when, yes, these tax dollars, it's really trillions of dollars that are put into our military for our defense, for our security, and they're not prioritizing correctly.
What do you think? Is this incompetence on the Biden administration's part, or are they somehow compromised?
I think it's nefarious reasons that they would allow what's going on today and then disallow truthful information to get out to the public. We're all guessing. I was asked the other day, in fact, right after they shot down one of the balloons or whatever it was, nobody even knows what it was, over Prudhoe Bay in Alaska, or as it floated by, I was asked if I could do an interview on it. Ashley Banfield asked me, and I love her, wanted to do an interview, a couple other people, and I'm like, no, I can't even, I wouldn't be edifying, I wouldn't be educating the public, because I don't know any more than anybody else does, because we can't believe a thing that comes out of this White House. That is a more dangerous position for Americans to be in than our fear of what China is doing, is our fear of our own government and disinformation.
Governor, you and I have been doing this a really long time. We have F-22s that have shot down 4 objects now, a balloon and 3 other quote-unquote objects, and they claim not to know what they are. How is that even humanly possible? Our fighter pilots know what they were shooting down. They had eyeballs on the target.
Right. They have to know. They have to know. If not, I mean, that is an indication of a failure that we can't even encapsulate. We can't even articulate what kind of failure that is if our guys don't even know what it is, where it came from. We can't even find the debris now of things that we shot down. But again, Eric, it's hard to even discuss as a layman on this when we have to listen to what is coming out of the White House. You gave that great soundbite from that spokesperson in the side, but planting the seed in people's mind that it could be UFOs, could be aliens, but I don't think it is. We have to rely on that kind of information.
China, right?
Anything but China. Anything but what reality is.
Governor, while we have you, we're down here in Florida. There are a couple of high-profile Republicans, one who's announced for a presidency, and another we're waiting to see if he does as well. We have Trump, you have DeSantis. Nikki Haley threw her hat in the ring today. What are your thoughts on 2024?
Well, I'm all about healthy, competitive primaries. You know, that makes everybody debate more articulately and work harder and let the people know what records are and visions for this country are. So I love healthy debate and competitive primaries. But, you know, a lot of states aren't even going to have primaries anymore because this new ranked choice voting that's being adopted around the nation. Outgo primaries, and it's going to be more of a free-for-all. But when you talk about the specific people, the individual people who are looking at putting their hat in the ring already, I say, A, they got a lot of guts thinking they're going to go up against Trump, okay? Because Trump, he proved before, he's going to prove again. He's got the wherewithal, he's got the vision, he's got the record now with good policy showing what he can produce for America. He's got the guts. He's got that attitude of, got nothing else to lose, man. What more can they do for us? I'm going to fight for what's right, because what else can they do to me? It takes a lot of guts to go up against something like that. And, you know, I think that Trump, but, you know, for him, it's going to be the more the merrier.
Mm-hmm. Does you think DeSantis jumps in?
DeSantis doesn't need to. I envision him as our president someday, but not right now. Everybody I speak with in Florida, they all love him. And he does set the tone for, I'd say, every other governor in the nation. I think he's our best governor. And he should stay governor for a bit longer. He's young. You know, he has decades ahead of him where he can be our president.
You know what's terrific? Sarah Sanders, I should say. I'm sorry, Sarah Sanders delivered a wonderful response to the State of the Union speech. She's fantastic. She, I believe, bumped herself up to everyone's VP ticket choice.
Good.
What do you think? What's the best Republican ticket, the best chance to unseat Joe Biden, whoever runs?
Well, I think, and I'm assuming it's going to be Trump. It's a nominee. Trump needs to choose somebody who, like him, has nothing to lose. What more can they do to that person personally, or verbal attacks or anything else on family? That person has been through the ringer, so they know what they're getting into, and that person then can just focus on doing what's right for the people, actually governing how they campaign, doing what they're expected to do as elected.
Are you describing yourself?
Not necessarily. However, I'll tell you, the opportunity that I had to run with someone who wasn't as common sense constitutional conservative as I, and I think the majority of Republicans were, but still having the opportunity to form a team like that in running, in offering ourselves up in service to America. Oh my goodness, no greater honor, no greater opportunity. The world vision that you're able to have after such an experience, it bodes well for future experiences.
Boy, I tell you what. Oh, you mean it prepared you for future experiences?
That too.
Maybe a 2025?
Well, that too.
Has there been any discussion with Trump?
Oh, what President Trump and I have talked about is kind of the same thing that we're talking about. Man, when you got nothing to lose, it's freeing, it's liberating. It's like, you guys, you people, he will anyway, do whatever it takes to serve the people in collectively America's best interest, putting America first. It's not about self. He's got nothing to lose,
That's
like
true.
I say.
That's true. The public service.
Public
serve
service
the public.
with the servant's heart.
Governor, before we let you go, this whole dust-up with Newsmax, actually OAN first, then Newsmax, DirecTV, AT&T, decided to deplatform two high-profile conservative voices. We're the fourth largest cable network in America, and we got deplatformed, yet there are 22 smaller companies that weren't deplatformed, and they lean left. Your thoughts on what DirecTV should do?
Right. And it's obvious that it's censorship, because it makes no economic sense even for DirecTV, for AT&T to have censored and eliminated shows, a network, when they kept shows that aren't nearly as popular, networks that aren't nearly as popular. I said, and it was on your show, I had said when this first kicked off, like, well, you know, maybe your viewers even could give me some input on this. Should we boycott? Should we just not keep giving our money, our hard-earned efforts to AT&T and to DirecTV? And I was surprised at how many people said, yeah, we should boycott. That's the only thing that's it's not even going to be in the court of public opinion. It's going to be hitting them in the pocketbook that kind of awakens them to, we're not going to take this anymore. So that's where I'm going with this.
You know, I said it to you the first time we talked about this 3 weeks or so ago when they first deplatformed. Where's Fox?
Oh,
where are you, Fox?
Gosh, yep.
Where are you? I mean, because they're not going to stop at OAN and news. They're going to. The left is going to continue to try and deplatform conservative voices, no matter how big you are.
And Fox is probably saying, "Oh, not my problem. You know, it's their problem." But as you're suggesting, no, Fox, it's going to be your problem too.
It's everyone's problem
All of
pretty
our
soon.
problem.
Governor, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you.